Hello, welcome to another tutorial. This is like the fifth take, so let's get this done. This one is going to be on the trick called the Z choker, and I want to thank a subscriber for kind of, giving me the tip that, hey, I was doing a lot of tricks that other people had tutorials on that you could just easily find from other people. While that is a very valid point, and I am going to do more tricks just like the Z choker, which there aren't really many tutorials on at all that I've seen. Those tutorials were also on my view of those tricks and how I would do them, even though it really doesn't differ very much. I feel like maybe some of my tips could have helped and the way I learned them could have helped. But you do have a very valid point, and I will try and do more tricks that kind of stand out that a lot more people are going to want to learn, just like the Z choker. And I know how I learned this was strictly off of slow-mos. I just went to Zach Balisong's channel on Instagram, which I believe he came up with it, and I would just sit there and watch him do it in the slow-mo clip that he had for 20 minutes until I got this trick semi down, and then I would just spend the next 2 or 3 days just doing it over and over. But yeah, so I'm going to pretty much tell you how to do it and some good ways to get into the trick. So here we go. The way he did it in his slow-mo, which is one of my favorite ways, is just starting on the bite handle, doing an index roll, and then doing a pivot, and then go straight into the reverse grip, and then from there do the Z choker. Alright? So that's one of my favorite ways, so I would recommend starting off like that, because then that at least gives you a good opener into the trick. So if you're ever doing combos and you want to mess around and try something new in the middle of your combo to end it, if you're ever stuck there on the bite handle and you need something more to do, just go and do a index roll and swap it around, because the Z choker makes a really good ending move. Alright? So that's all you really got to do for that. It's really simple. It looks really clean when you do it correctly. So here's how to do the Z choker. First, I want to recommend you know how to do the choker fan, because that will come in very handy for this trick. I have a tutorial for that as well. You can also get into this trick from a choker fan. One of the other fanning combos I had came up with to do was just do some flourish fans, a choker fan, into a straight reverse, and then do the Z choker. So yeah, to get into the Z choker, you're just going to want to start in this reverse grip, like I said, and then you're going to want to hold it with your index finger and middle finger. Your middle finger will be on top, index on the bottom. Okay? And then you're going to want to twist it so the blade is facing you. Twist it from underneath so the blade is facing away from you. Okay? And then what you're going to want to do is replace your index finger with your ring finger. So your index is on top, you're going to replace it with your ring finger. And now the blade is still facing away from you, you're going to want to do it back towards you like this. So now your middle is on top, your ring is on the bottom, and now you're going to slide your index finger underneath the safe handle only, and then that is going to be where you're going to initiate the fan. Now, the fan is the hardest part of this trick, so one other tip I have for you when you're starting this trick is you're going to want to start kind of choked up a little bit towards the top of the handle, but quite a bit away from the pivot. So as you notice, the chevrons are probably like half an inch to almost an inch away from the pivot. You're going to want to start like where the chevrons would be on an Alpha Beast, just about an inch up from the pivot, if not a little less. All right. So you're going to do those rolls, and then you're going to end up like this, where you're going to initiate the roll. Ring finger on the bottom, and the index on the bottom, and middle on the top. Okay. Now when you initiate the roll, it's going to be you're going to start off rolling it with your index finger against your middle finger, but then it's going to turn into you rolling it towards the second half. It's going to turn into you rolling it on your index finger with your middle finger to end up in this position. Alright? And I know that sounds really weird, and it is, honestly. That's kind of how it is, because when you start the roll, you're using your index finger to roll it on your middle finger, but then as it gets to right there, you're going to need to bend your middle finger to roll it against your index finger in order for it to go up like that. Then you swing it around to reverse grip again. So, with that being said, it is a quite difficult trick, but once you get those movements down of the rolling it, it just kind of does it on its own. But it's still difficult to get into. It took me a few days to learn this trick when I was first learning it, and I'm still getting better at it as the days progress, but it's still a trick that's really good to learn. It's really fun. It looks really flashy, you know. You just break it out and do it. You can do kind of more spins too if you want to make it look flashier. Sometimes I do that. And it also kind of saves you if you mess up on it a little bit. Just, you know. So let me see if I can get those rolls as slowly as possible. So when you initiate the roll, it's like you're using your index finger to push it along your middle finger, and then as it gets to right there is when you're going to straight your in. Try that again real quick. I'll explain this better here. When you flip it, you're going to twist it with your index finger like this to initiate the roll. And as you're doing that, you are straightening out your index finger from when it is originally curved to do that roll, when it is up on top of the handle like this. If you're curving it and straightening it out while you're doing that roll, and then your middle finger is curved, so that's when you're going to straighten that out. Or not even really straighten it out. You're going to go for it, and as you're rolling it with your index, it's going to come around like that, and then you're going to finish it with your middle. This is a really weird trick to describe because you don't think about it when you're doing it. You're just doing it because once you learn it, you don't need to think about it. It's like you do behind the eight ball so much, and then somebody's like, how do you do that? Your first response is like, I don't know, dude, I just do it. You know, because you could just do this over and over again, right? You know, you could just days and days of doing that. You get used to it. And it's like this with the Z choker. Once you get into the spirit of doing it and you know how to do it so well, and you just get in the habit of doing it, it's almost like you can't describe how you're doing it. I'm just doing it. So that's what really kind of challenges me with these tutorials is like, how do I describe something that I've been doing for so long when I don't even really know what I'm doing anymore? I'm just doing it. I don't mean to come off cocky or anything like that, but it's just, you know. So back to the trick. Sorry about that little rant. Yeah, so you're going to start off rolling it with your index finger, and then you're going to go into rolling it with your middle finger until it ends up right there. Like that. That's really all I got for you. I tried explaining it the best I can. Again, just kind of choke up on the handles a little bit. Start rolling it with your index finger, and as it straightens out, that's when you're going to start curving your middle finger, and that kind of finishes off the roll. And you kind of end up right here pinching the tip of your middle to the top part of your index. That kind of finishes the move, and then you pivot it like that. And that's basically the Z choker. Again, like I said, my favorite way to get into this move is just like the way that Zach Balisong did it on his channel, is just do it from a Y2K and then go into it like that. So there's so many other ways you can get into it though. You can just do a Y2K to a little wristy passy thingy-majigger and do it. Yeah. But that was the tutorial on the Z choker. I need some tutorial recommendations. I'm probably going to end up doing combos, probably go into a few aerial techniques, and then try to get into doing passing techniques for like transfers and stuff. Actually, I'll probably go into like the Volp trick because I know I haven't seen many tutorials on the Volp trick. So yeah, yippee! I'll probably end up putting a review out on the Alpha Beast Infinity as well, which is what I use. So yeah, stay tuned for those. Peace out.